Structured environment. They had a support system built in of folks that were like-minded that they can relate to and are doing the same things. And they had a clear sense of mission and purpose. And then that disappears. They then start to transition out. They lose that sense of purpose. They lose that sense of mission while they're trying to navigate where are my benefits? What is my family dynamics, my financial situation? What's going to be my next job? And that can be a very overwhelming time for a veteran. And they may also be experiencing, symptoms of PTSD on top of that. And so having connection during that time is going to be so critical. Having that support system of like-minded individuals that might be going through it with you or that have already went through it and can help shepherd, or as Jake said, be the one carrying you. You mentioned our survey. Our survey showed that for wounded warriors who had listed isolation or that lack of connection as a symptom that they were experiencing, they were 3 times more likely to have had suicidal thoughts in the past 12 months. So connection is key.
No question about it. Jake, and I really appreciate you opening up, telling your story to help others. Lindsay, quickly, where can, if perhaps one of our viewers has a family member who's struggling right now, where can they go for help?
I think it's great that you mentioned family member, right? You do not have to be a mental health expert to help somebody who's struggling or to help yourself if you're struggling. I'd recommend going to woundedwarriorproject.org. We're there to support. We stand by ready to connect you to programs, connect you to services, and help build that foundation of connection.
All right, Jacob and Lindsay, we appreciate your time here on the Digital Desk. God bless you both, and thank you for your time.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Tuesday morning. Starting off with clouds, fog, mist, drizzle yet again. Clouds are going to hang around, maybe a couple of peaks of sun trying to eke out here today before the rain moves back into the fold. Of course, the rain coming down heavily at times, especially late tonight into your day tomorrow. As far as today's concerned, mainly cloudy, drizzle early. Again, a peak or two of sun, you can't rule it out, but it's not going to be the most prevalent thing in the world. Rain becomes more dominant, especially through the afternoon and early evening hours. Southeasterly breezes coming in around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Rain is going to be dominant tonight, at times heavy, mainly cloudy skies, upper 40s to wake up early tomorrow morning. South winds coming in here 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then stuck in the 50s all day long. Mainly cloudy with periodic gusty showers. As we take a look at our first alert futurecast, you'll see the winds really beginning to pick up as we head through the course of the morning hours of your Wednesday. Some gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour, maybe some gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour. We'll start off with the winds coming in more so out of the south and west. They'll turn north and west as we head through the course of the day, ushering in the cooler air that'll take us into your your Thursday rather. But also with the winds being pretty aggressive throughout much of the day on Wednesday, you'll see the temperatures actually coming down through the morning hours. So by the time we head towards lunchtime, maybe closer to our low for the day, what feels like temperatures that will be in the 40s and some spots upper 30s. We'll try to rebound back into the low 50s briefly before the day is out as our system begins to pull away from us. There's a look at our first alert futurecast tonight. Again, the rain chances begin to increase here across the Mid-South, at times coming down heavily. The skies will stay cloudy heading into your Wednesday. The winds will begin to pick up, though the heaviest rain may shift northward. There's still going to be a fair amount of scattered showers still underneath the clouds, and we'll continue that trend even into your Wednesday evening before the whole system gets to push off to the east. Now, if the winds can stay elevated, we may preclude fog from developing as skies clear out, but don't be surprised if fog does become an issue for parts of your Thursday morning before becoming sunny. Temperatures will top out Generally upper 50s, close to 60 degrees. Of course, a big drop in temperatures, not just here locally. It's a region-wide situation, but notice by the time we head towards your Friday, we'll start to see the temperatures easing back up closer to average, even though the average high this time of the year is about 69 degrees. So we're still running about 5 degrees off the mark here, even by Friday, though it looks like by the weekend, also some cooler temperatures still in play until we can get back closer to average next week. Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane this morning, about to make landfall here in western portions of Jamaica. I mean, the eye wall likely to make its presence known here very shortly on the southern shores of Jamaica. Montego Bay sitting here, Kingston back over here. So again, Kingston in that right front quadrant of the storm, and then more than likely Montego Bay closer to the actual center of circulation. Nonetheless, I mean, this is one of the strongest storms that we've seen this entire year on the entire planet. And actually, from the standpoint of late season hurricanes here in the Atlantic Basin, maybe one of the strongest on record in the Atlantic Basin in the latter half of October. Winds of 175 miles per hour, gusting as high as 215 miles per hour. And the general track here will take it across western Jamaica. You know, this may be a devastating blow for Jamaica here with a direct strike of a Category 5 hurricane, still holding on to Category 4 strength before making a landfall in eastern Cuba, and then moving through the southern Bahamian Islands out towards Bermuda, still as a hurricane on Friday, and then out to sea it goes as we head into the upcoming weekend. That's a look at the First Alert Futurecast. Again, storm just off of the coastline, starting to get inside the eye wall here shortly in the southern sides of Jamaica. It will move onshore here in the next couple hours, reform itself as it makes its way into Cuba, likely late tonight, early tomorrow morning, then towards the Turks and Caicos by the time we head towards your Wednesday, and then eventually the storm itself. Here's Bermuda right here, and it will likely make a beeline for Bermuda, still as a hurricane heading into Thursday night into early Friday. Back here at home, what is actually keeping Melissa from coming in our direction and towards the Gulf? These fronts moving through here. We just had the front move through here from the weekend. That system is now moving off of the coastline of the Carolinas. That's helping to shunt Melissa to the north and east. This next front will help the process again. And of course, usher in more, not just a fall feel, but a wintry feel even for your Wednesday. Upper 50s for highs on Thursday. That's more akin to what we normally see around Christmas time, to the mid 60s again by Halloween. I think Halloween should be fine. No problems for the evening hours, though clouds will start to increase. Maybe a shower or two later in the day on Saturday as a system comes through the area. Low 60s on Saturday, mid 60s on Sunday, middle to upper 60s return next week, which is a little closer to average for this time of the year.
Hayes, what's going on? It's Andrew Douglas. How are you?
Andrew, I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Got about 45 seconds before we come to you. I appreciate the shot there. You look good, sound good. We're ready to go.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you in a second.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to tell you about a show that's coming to Memphis on November 9th. It is Hayes Carl, and he's going to be performing at the 1884 Lounge. And it is an opportunity to see him at a very momentous time in his career. He is characterized and described by so many as a plain-spoken, poetic, humorous blend of country, folk, and American styles. His songwriting often reflects personal experiences, social commentary, and makes it very relatable and engaging for listeners. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, Hayes Carl, right now on the Digital Desk. So, Hayes, good morning to you. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Well, I'm from Houston, Texas originally, and lived here in Nashville, Tennessee for the last 7 years or so, and been writing songs and playing guitar and singing for about 25 years now as my living.
Not a bad way to make a living, I must say. Did I describe your genre and who you are properly on stage? How would you describe your concerts to our audience?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close description. I got into music and to songwriting because I felt like the people that I really loved and admired, the Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, John Prine, that those people are were able to articulate feelings that I didn't have the words or ability to articulate, and they helped give me an identity and helped ease my pain and bring me joy. And I just always thought that I couldn't think of any cooler job, and so I was really drawn to it from a really young age, and uh, so that's kind of how I approach it. Is I try and sort out my own stuff, and um, it's a mix of having fun and looking at life, and sometimes digging deep, and sometimes just being the soundtrack for life's moments. It's a wide range.
And I understand that you've gotten quite some notoriety recently. CBS Sunday Morning did a piece on you, and tell me about this recent success, and perhaps what do you credit that?
I think I credit it to sticking around long enough and hopefully being consistent. This is my 10th record I just put out. It's called We're Only Human. And it's just about the human experience. And, we all go on this journey, and there's not necessarily a guidebook for a lot of parts of it, and we're all going to struggle at some point. So it's just trying to find a little peace and grace for myself and for others, and I think we can all relate to that in some way. But I also think you just stick around long enough, and every once in a while they'll put you on a TV show.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, no question about it. So, have you been to Memphis in the past? If so, where have you been? If not, where do you want to go?
Oh yeah, I've been there many times. I've played the Levitt Shell uh, 4 or 5 times. I've done a lot of club shows. Um, Played some theaters there. So been in a lot of different capacities, either on my own shows or city events or opening for people like Robert O'Keefe. Um, and my first time there, I went to college in Conway, Arkansas, not far down the road. It's a Hendrix College, and I remember our orientation was in Memphis, and so I was 18 and um, getting my first taste of what that was all about. It's a good memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, so you are performing in Memphis November 9th once again at the 1884 Lounge. What can the fans expect?
Well, I'm gonna have my band with me. We got a six-piece band called the Gulf Coast Orchestra. I started out down on the Gulf Coast of Texas, and uh, I believe Joe B. Riccio is going to open the show, and then we'll just have a big band show. It's going to be um, I don't know, it's a honky tonk, country, rock and roll, singer songwriter, folk. I try to get a little bit of everything in there, just the music that I love, and telling the stories that I like to tell.
That sounds fantastic, and you know that's music to many people's ears. Just hearing that, and being at those Levitt Shell, now Overton Park Shell concerts, those are that's an incredible venue to check out some shows and see up and coming artists for sure. Anything else you'd like to share with our viewers right now? We have thousands that watch us each and every morning.
Well, good morning, everybody, and yeah, I guess I hope everybody's doing well, and I look forward to being back in town. There's nothing like um, for me, the experience of coming to a show either as a performer or as a fan, and just being able to share have that communal experience and connect with people through song. So I hope to join us. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, we are looking forward to you November 9th in Memphis, 1884 Lounge. We appreciate your time. Hayes Carl, congratulations on all your success, and we'll look for you in a not too distant future. Appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you.
Thank you much.
All right, another live look from our High Five camera as we go to break here on this Tuesday. Lots of clouds out there, my goodness. It is certainly cloudy, and you can see from our High Five camera in Midtown Memphis, similar situation there. We'll talk about the forecast in 1 minute. Hayes, thanks so very much. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, thank you. Really appreciate you. Have a good one.
Okay, you do the same. Good luck on the 9th.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Tuesday morning. Starting off with clouds, fog, mist, drizzle yet again. Clouds are going to hang around, maybe a couple of peaks of sun trying to eke out here today before the rain moves back into the fold. Of course, the rain coming down heavily at times, especially late tonight into your day tomorrow. As far as today's concerned, mainly cloudy, drizzle early. Again, a peak or two of sun. You can't rule it out, but it's not going to be the most prevalent thing in the world. Rain becomes more dominant, especially through the afternoon and early evening hours. Southeasterly breezes coming in around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Rain is going to be dominant tonight, at times heavy, mainly cloudy skies, upper 40s to wake up early tomorrow morning. South winds coming in here 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then stuck in the 50s all day long. Mainly cloudy with periodic gusty showers. As we take a look at our first alert futurecast, you'll see the winds really beginning to pick up as we head through the course of the morning hours of your Wednesday. Some gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour, maybe some gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour. We'll start off with the winds coming in more so out of the south and west. They'll turn north and west as we head through the course of the day, ushering in the cooler air. They'll take us into your your Thursday rather. But also with the winds being pretty aggressive throughout much of the day on Wednesday, you'll see the temperatures actually coming down through the morning hours. So by the time we head towards lunchtime, maybe closer to our low for the day, what feels like temperatures that will be in the 40s, in some spots upper 30s. We'll try to rebound back into the low 50s briefly before the day is out as our system begins to pull away from us. There's a look at our first alert futurecast tonight. Again, the rain chances begin to increase here across the Mid-South, at times coming down heavily. The skies will stay cloudy heading into your Wednesday. The winds will begin to pick up, though the heaviest rain may shift northward. There's still going to be a fair amount of scattered showers still underneath the clouds, and we'll continue that trend even into your Wednesday evening before the whole system gets to push off to the east. Now, if the winds can stay elevated, we may preclude fog from developing as skies clear out, but don't be surprised if fog does become an issue for parts of your Thursday morning before becoming sunny. Temperatures will top out generally upper 50s, close to 60 degrees. Of course, a big drop in temperatures, not just here locally. It's a region-wide situation, but notice by the time we head towards your Friday, we'll start to see the temperatures easing back up closer to average, even though the average high this time of the year is about 69 degrees. So we're still running about 5 degrees off the mark here, even by Friday, though it looks like by the weekend, also some cooler temperatures still in play until we can get back closer to average next week. Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane this morning, about to make landfall here in western portions of Jamaica. I mean, the eye wall likely to make its presence known here very shortly on the southern shores of Jamaica. Montego Bay sitting here, Kingston back over here. So again, Kingston in that right front quadrant of the storm, and then more than likely Montego Bay closer to the actual center of circulation. Nonetheless, I mean, this is one of the strongest storms that we've seen this entire year on the entire planet. And actually, from the standpoint of late season hurricanes here in the Atlantic Basin, maybe one of the strongest on record in the Atlantic Basin in the latter half of October. Winds of 175 miles per hour, gusting as high as 215 miles per hour. And the general track here will take it across western Jamaica. This may be a devastating blow for Jamaica here with a direct strike of a Category 5 hurricane, still holding on to Category 4 strength before making a landfall in eastern Cuba, and then moving through the southern Bahamian Islands out towards Bermuda, still as a hurricane on Friday, and then out to sea it goes as we head into the upcoming weekend. That's a look at the First Alert Futurecast. Again, storm just off of the coastline, starting to get inside the eye wall here shortly in the southern sides of Jamaica. It will move onshore here in the next couple hours, reform itself as it makes its way into Cuba, likely late tonight, early tomorrow morning, then towards the Turks and Caicos by the time we head towards your Wednesday, and then eventually the storm itself. Here's Bermuda right here, and it will likely make a beeline for Bermuda, still as a hurricane heading into Thursday night into early Friday. Back here at home, what is actually keeping Melissa from coming in our direction and towards the Gulf? These fronts moving through here. We just had the front move through here from the weekend. That system is now moving off of the coastline of the Carolinas. That's helping to shunt Melissa to the north and east. This next front will help the process again. And of course, usher in more, not just a fall feel, but a wintry feel even for your Wednesday. Upper 50s for highs on Thursday. That's more akin to what we normally see around Christmas time, to the mid 60s again by Halloween. I think Halloween should be fine. No problems for the evening hours, though clouds will start to increase. Maybe a shower or two later in the day on Saturday as a system comes through the area. Low 60s on Saturday, mid 60s on Sunday, middle to upper 60s return next week, which is a little closer to average for this time of the year.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. You know, there is different warnings and different signs and symptoms when it comes to a heart attack for men and women. Let's bring in Dr. Anna Yang. She is a professional physician rather at Regional One Health, because we know, Dr. Yang, that the CDC says every 40 seconds someone has a heart attack in the U.S. So can you first describe what actually a heart attack is? What does that mean?
Sure. So thanks again for having me. Heart attacks are very scary things. We hear about them all the time. We hear people die of them, and sometimes it's kind of a mystery as to what it actually is. So let's see if I can make this simple. So basically, in a heart attack, you suddenly don't have enough blood flow to part of your heart. And if that happens for long enough, your heart tissue actually starts to die. And if enough of your heart tissue dies, then your heart may never function normally again. If a large portion of your heart starts to die and doesn't function anymore, some people can even die suddenly. But not all heart attacks end in death. But basically what's happening is that there's suddenly not enough blood flow for the heart to function correctly.
So I know that the signs and symptoms for a heart attack in men are different than women. Can you explain maybe some of the big signs and symptoms for both genders?
Sure. So classically, heart attacks present with chest pain, usually in the middle of your chest, and it usually feels like a pressure type feeling, like the classically described elephant sitting on your chest. Just a big pressure squeezing feeling. It's not necessarily like the way you would imagine, pain to be, like a sharp stabbing type thing. This kind of chest pressure or pain can also come with shortness of breath, some nausea, maybe your heart's racing a little bit, maybe you get sweaty all of a sudden. And this chest pain or pressure can also radiate or kind of shoot towards your arm or your jaw or potentially your neck. Now, not everybody, though, has the classic signs of heart attacks. Sometimes heart attacks more commonly in women or more commonly in people with diabetes or more common in older people. Sometimes heart attacks don't have those exact symptoms. Sometimes it's just a feeling of nausea, a little bit of, restlessness, just suddenly feeling tired all over. So not every single heart attack presents as the classic kind of chest pain symptoms. And men and women can all have these abnormal or atypical symptoms, but it does seem to happen more often in women and those with diabetes and other medical conditions.
I know that there's something called a silent heart attack, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what that is in relation to just your, I guess, typical heart attack.
Sure. So it's referring to the symptoms. So your typical heart attack, you have all the, symptoms of it. You don't feel good. You have potentially chest pain or the, nausea or the sweating or the shortness of breath or the heart palpitations or the weakness. A silent heart attack is just, you don't have those same symptoms. You might have a little bit of a vague feeling of, being unwell or a little bit of just, mild symptoms. But you can have these symptoms and be actually having a heart attack and not know it. And that's why they call it silent. So that, in the future, when you're getting evaluated by a doctor for something else, you find out later on that, oh, you actually did have a heart attack at some point and didn't recognize it or didn't know it.
If you think you're having a heart attack and you feel like you might, what should you do?
So the most important thing really is to get seen and get your risk factors and things evaluated before you have a heart attack at all. So go to your regular doctor, get your regular checkups. If you have risk factors like high blood pressure or diabetes or high cholesterol, or you're smoking and trying to quit, your doctor can help you with all of these things to try to mitigate your risk factors and decrease the chances of you having a heart attack at all. But if you really think you're having a heart attack, definitely get yourself to the emergency room right away. Because if you're not having enough blood flow to your heart, that needs to be fixed as soon as possible, whether it's by medication or procedure or a combination of both. That blood flow to your heart needs to be restored as soon as possible to try to preserve as much of your heart function in the future as possible. So if you really think you're having a heart attack, go straight to the emergency room.
What about prevention? Let's talk a little bit about prevention, just news you can use right now for the thousands of people who are watching, Anna.
Sure. So prevention is the most important thing. There are a lot of different risk factors for having heart attacks, and a lot of them you can't control, and there's no point worrying about those things. Things, like normal aging, family history, and things like that, you have no control over. So there's no need to even worry about that. Now, the things you can control, though, making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure your stress is managed as much as possible, making sure you're eating a healthy, nutritious diet, and then all those risk factors, medical conditions that I talked about before, potentially high blood pressure, diabetes and cholesterol, making sure you get those checked and controlled and managed as much as possible. And you may not even feel those symptoms. A lot of people have high blood pressure without having any idea of it. And the only way to know is to check your blood pressure and go to your doctor, who can then, potentially guide you on if you need medication for this, or if there are things that you can do with lifestyle changes, improving what you're doing on a day-to-day basis before, having to start medication. And then, of course, if you're smoking, that's a big one too. If you can quit smoking, that would make a huge difference
Sure.
in preventing attacks.
So, anything else before we let you go, Anna? These are great tips and just great useful information for our audience.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is to see your doctor regularly. If you don't have a regular doctor, make sure you go to one so that they can screen you for these things. And if you're having signs and symptoms, please don't ignore them. If you think you may be having something dangerous or something major going on, the sooner the better. So, don't wait days later to get yourself medical care. If you really think you're having a problem, go seek help immediately.
Okay, Dr. Anna Yang with Regional One Health. We appreciate your time on the digital desk explaining exactly what a heart attack is, ways to prevent it, the signs and symptoms, and everything in between. Anna, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Dietitians, boy, they play such an important role when it comes to helping people understand the connection between food and nutrition and how it can impact our lives. Let's bring in our friend, our clinical dietitian for Regional One Health. We got Quinay Johnson joining us once again on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Quinay, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone. And nice to be back.
Yes. Always good to have you. So we know that there are a lot of processed foods, ultra processed foods, and the way that they are processed affects how healthy they are or how unhealthy they are, I guess I should say. Can you explain the difference between processed foods, what that means, ultra processed foods, and best practices to avoid them?
I like to think of processing as modification. So there's a scale when it comes to processed foods, and it can be subjective, but the things that are constant are minimally processed and ultra processed. Minimally processed or minimally altered food can be your apple, for an example. You pick it straight off the tree, that's as minimally processed as it can get, versus ultra processed foods. It can be like an applesauce that has corn syrup added to it to make it sweet and also has preservatives within it to make sure it lasts long on the shelf and doesn't make you sick, or apple juice with added sweeteners such as corn syrup.
That's good to know. That's a good distinction, Quinay. Thank you. And food choices, it's so hard for so many people out there. I mean, price is obviously a factor for so many people out there because grocery store prices, as you know, I mean, they've gone through the roof over the last several years. How do we make good food choices? If you had to just kind of give people maybe 3 bullet points on how to make good food choices, what would you tell them?
I would say knowing how to read a food label and understanding ingredients within the list on the back of food can help you make better options. To limit the amount of ultra processed ingredients you consume could be a great place to start. Two, making things more convenient for you. For an example, investing into buying frozen foods or still buying fresh foods and having tools at home to make sure that it's a quicker process for you to have food available so that you can make healthier options is number two. And then three, again, preparation is best, but having like fresh fruits and vegetables to snack on to make sure that you're getting a lot of vitamins and minerals as best as possible and not being enticed to buy fast food because you don't have any fresh fruit available at home is a third way to make healthier choices.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes, Quine, when it comes to shopping at grocery stores?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe the biggest mistake that can happen is to just not be intentional when it comes to going grocery shopping. So if you set time out before going to make a list and checking the boxes as to making sure that you have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, lean meats, grains, and whole grains, and things of that nature before you go into the grocery store, that can help alleviate some of the issues when it comes to making mistakes at the grocery store. And then also going to the grocery store hungry. Don't do it because you're always going to impulsively buy something versus getting the things that you need to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, I've made that mistake plenty of times. And then I come home and I'm like, what is all this stuff? So, okay, let's talk about suggestions, easy ways, friendly reminders to make it easier to eat healthier each and every day.
One great way to make things easier for yourself is to, again, make a grocery list before you go to the grocery store. Buy things that you're more motivated to eat at home that are still healthy. For an example, I love pineapples. Pineapples, I believe, are in season right now, or apples. And having foods that are less processed or have less ingredients in them to complement those things. So I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I don't do that, but I do sunflower butter. That's something that I could pair with apples, and that's a great snack to have. Also, I'm trying to think of another way. Oh, buying frozen foods. That can be a cheap and also affordable way to get vegetables and fruits in that aren't as processed as per se your canned foods that have added salt in them, or for fruit, canned fruits with corn syrup added into them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Let's talk about just, final question, just the main point you want people to remember when it comes to sticking to a healthy diet and how it affects our health.
The biggest thing that I want to be taken away from this is preparation saves a lot of heartache. If you go into something intentionally and have a game plan, you're more likely to succeed or win the game versus just going in willy-nilly, no practice, trying to be Michael Jordan.
Quine Johnson has jokes on a Tuesday. Thank you, Quine. I appreciate that. We always appreciate what you do as a clinical dietitian at Regional One Health. Thanks again for joining us on the Digital Desk.
Thank you so much, and I'm hoping that everyone has a great day. It was nice talking with you, Andrew.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to tell you about the Orpheum Theater Group. They have announced the return of Camp Say. This is for young people. It's a free 2-day camp for young people who stutter, ages 8 to 18. Joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm joined by Jennifer McGrath. She is Vice President of Education, Community Engagement, and Halloran Center Programming. Jennifer, this sounds like a great camp, and because of its success, it's back again this year. Tell me about it. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Delighted to be here, and thank you for giving us the time and space to share about this program. We run this program, Camp Say, which is a mini 2-day camp that happens twice a year at the Orpheum's Halloran Center, in partnership with an international organization called SAY, the Stuttering Association for the Young, which is based out of New York City. And essentially, what we're doing at Camp Say is that we are bringing young people together in community who stutter and giving them as much time as they need to speak because we believe what they have to say matters. So a lot of people don't know over 71 million people in the world stutter. And oftentimes these young people can be suffering in silence, right? Maybe they're being bullied for the way they talk, or maybe they're nervous or afraid to raise their hand in class, right? And the only difference between a person who stutters and a person who doesn't is that it just takes them a little bit more time to say what they have to say. So this isn't speech therapy. This isn't about correcting anything. This is about saying we believe the way you speak is absolutely wonderful and beautiful, and we want to provide the time and the space for you to say it and to be able to be creative and be in community with other young people just like you.
That sounds great. Tell me about it, about the camp last year. Was it well attended? How many kids showed up?
Yeah, so we have been running, we actually just calculated this because we have been running this partnership for almost 7 years. So this will actually be our 13th time running Camp Say across the USA in Memphis. We started out in 2018. It was a once a year program, sort of a pilot to see how it went. And then it grew and grew and grew. And so now we're up to doing it twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring. And the enrollment only continues to skyrocket. What's really special is we have young people that have been coming since that very first year, that were maybe 8 years old when they came. And now 7 years later, they're still coming and they've been coming every time, which is wonderful because we're really able to build long-standing relationships with those young people and their families because we're also connecting the families. But also every time we open enrollment, it never ceases to amaze how many new people come out of the woodwork to sign up, which I think just demonstrates the need. The camp is very well attended, and I think it's worth saying this time around, we've seen an overwhelming and even greater interest and enrollment. So if you are a young person who stutters or you know someone who is and you're interested in enrolling, we really want you to enroll immediately because for the first time ever, we may have to move to a wait list. We're getting close to capacity for the program, which is a great problem to have, but we want to make sure we're able to serve as many young people as possible.
That definitely sounds fantastic, and I'm glad to hear that it's almost, I guess you could say, sell out or moving to a bigger venue. If people are watching right now, they want to get some information on best ways to register and be a part of it all. When is it? How do we register? That sort of thing. How much does it cost?
Absolutely. Well, the best part about it is that it's offered completely free. This is part of our continuing work at the Orpheum and the Halloran Center. We believe that everyone should have access to quality arts education. And so we are working really hard to remove as many barriers as possible. We know in Memphis that cost can often be a barrier. So the camp is completely free to attend, and we provide breakfast and lunch as well as a camp t-shirt and all the supplies that a young person needs. So really all they have to do is show up. They do need to register in advance, as you said, though, so we know that they're coming. The dates of the camp are Saturday and Sunday, November 22nd and 23rd, 2025, held right here at the Halloran Center. And to register, all you need to do is go to orpheum-memphis.com, go to our education page, and there's a Camp Say page. There's a link to fill out all the information. We just, of course, need the usual information so we can know who's coming and keep them safe and know a little bit about more about the campers. And there's also, like I sort of mentioned earlier, that we talk to the families. There's also an optional caregiver workshop and support group because we really believe in addressing the whole family. And so we really encourage also the parents and caregivers to get involved, to connect, to meet other families so that the friendships of both the young people and the family members that are caring for youth who stutter can last beyond camp.
Fantastic. So this is November 22nd, 23rd. This is the weekend prior to Thanksgiving. Anything else we can touch on, Jennifer, before we let you go? It really sounds great.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. I think one of the greatest things about this camp is that it demonstrates the power of the arts and how transformative it can be. Like I said earlier, it shows young people that they are not alone, right? A lot of young people who stutter maybe think they're the only person in the world that talks that way, or that no one will ever give them the time that they need to finish their sentences. And at Camp Say, we're sort of completely dispelling all of those myths, right? We're showing them that they're not alone. We're putting them in community with other young people. We are validating and affirming and letting them know we want them to have all the time that they need to speak. And when you do that, when you give the simple gift of time and space and creative materials, and you allow people to express themselves, the things that we see and learn and create together, they build empathy. They help us become better communicators, better critical thinkers, collaborators. And honestly, most importantly, we just get to have a lot of fun. These are young people, and we want them to have some joy in their lives, and Camp Say certainly allows them to do that.
Fantastic. Jennifer McGrath, we really appreciate your time, and congratulations on another year of this great camp. Camp Say, that is going to be November 22nd, 23rd, a free camp for young folks who stutter. Appreciate your time on the digital desk. Good luck this year. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, believe it or not, we are within 100 days until the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. And of course, there's going to be so much fanfare. It's in Italy this year. And there is an elite group of athletes. And of course, that includes some soldiers from the U.S. Army who are serving their country in more ways than one, specifically Staff Sergeant Deidre Irwin. She is preparing for her second Olympic appearance in the biathlon after a 7th place finish in 2022's Winter Olympic Games in Beijing. And she hopes to bring the first medal in the sport to the U.S. She is joining me right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, Staff Sergeant Deidre Irwin. Good morning to you. First, give me a little bit of background on who you are, where you're from, how long you've been in the Army. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me. So I'm originally from Green Bay, Wisconsin area. I started skiing when I was 16 years old. And I started biathlon when I was about 25 years old, right before I joined the military. And so biathlon is a combination of Nordic skiing and precision rifle marksmanship. It's super unique winter sport that not a lot of people know about, but it's a really incredible, diverse sport where you have to have the endurance of Nordic skiing and then the precision of rifle marksmanship. And so I joined the military in 2019. And I've been, competing for the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program for this last Olympic cycle. And we're really excited to try and get the first Olympic medal for the U.S. biathlon.
Well, congratulations, and I appreciate you giving us a background. I do remember watching the biathlon. This is where, correct me if I'm wrong, this is where, the athletes ski like crazy. They try to go as fast as they can, and then they pull out a gun and start shooting target practice. I know that's a rough description, but is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, it's a rough description, but it's totally accurate. We're skiing our hearts out there, and then we have to get on the range and we have to completely switch mentalities to all of a sudden become a calm, cool, and focused precision shooter. It's not really two sports you would think that would go together, but it's incredibly unique, and it's exciting because of that, because you never know, who's going to hit all their targets or who's going to ski the fastest. And every day there can be a completely different, athlete on the podium.
I love that. All right. Well, how does someone get into the idea of saying, you know what, I'm going to train for the U.S. Olympics? Oh, yeah? What are you going to train for? I'm going to train for a biathlon. Like, how did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, so I grew up Nordic skiing, and in college I Nordic skied. And when I was thinking about retiring from it, I had a friend reach out to me and tell me about the sport of biathlon. And I didn't grow up, hunting or shooting or anything like that. So when I first got behind that rifle, it was the coolest thing I'd ever experienced. And then, like you said, adding that uniqueness of skiing as fast as you can and then trying to get on the mat and stop and shoot. It was addicting every single time I was able to hit a target. And so I think it's one of those things where for me, it kind of just fell into my lap and ended up becoming, just part of my path to, the Olympics that I didn't really know I was going to, pursue when I was younger, growing up wanting to be an Olympian.
Fantastic. Wait, did you say the coolest thing and you're talking about the Winter Olympics? Just kidding. I'll let that go, Deidre. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Great puns, great puns.
Yeah. So tell me about how the U.S. Army has really supported your journey here with the Olympics.
Yeah, so being able to be a full-time soldier in the U.S. Army, specifically with the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program, it's been incredible. They've been able to take a lot of those stressors that you normally have as a professional athlete, especially as an Olympian. A lot of us, are in such unique sports that we're not able to get all the cool sponsor deals and everything like that to make it a full career. And so the U.S. Army has been able to help me in giving me a full-time competitive salary, the health benefits, student loan repayment, all of that stuff has been a weight taken off of my shoulders. So I can just really pursue and focus on just being an elite athlete and, being, another pun, all I can be in the Army, and so, trying to make it towards that Olympic podium.
Tell me about other soldiers that are part of the Olympic team in the U.S.
Yeah, so the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program has soldiers in many sports, from wrestling to bobsled, track and field, Nordic skiing, and biathlon, like I'm in. And we all have different military jobs, Army jobs. So I'm a human resource specialist. You have people who are truck drivers, infantrymen, supply sergeants, so we have these dual careers, which is really amazing because we're able to pursue our Olympic dreams and our Olympic potential while also building careers in the U.S. Army that when we do decide to retire from sport, we're able to fall back and have very successful, very fulfilling careers with the U.S. Army.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, if someone's watching right now, and we have thousands who watch each and every morning here on the Digital Desk, if someone's watching, they want to support you and your journey, what can they do, Deidre?
Well, they can definitely follow me and find me on Instagram if you specifically want to watch biathlon. But you can also go to goarmy.com if you want to figure out how to be a soldier yourself or find out more about the other U.S. Army WCAP World Class Athlete Program soldiers in all the different sports.
Fantastic. Staff Sergeant Deidre Irwin headed to the Olympics, the Winter Olympics in Italy. Thanks for coming on the Digital Desk. Congratulations on all your success. And we're going to be rooting you on here in Memphis and the Mid-South as the games begin. We appreciate your time. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Later this month, you are going to be able to capture and enjoy The Notebook coming to the Orpheum later this month, downtown Memphis. It is going to be from October 28th until November 2nd. And this is something that is expected to really wow audiences. It's been doing that across the country right now. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am happy to be joined by Bo Gravitt. He is one of the cast members. He plays the older Noah in the cast of The Notebook. Joining us on the Digital Desk to talk a little bit more about what to expect when it comes here later this month. So, Bo, tell us a little bit about what it's been like to be on this cast and traveling around the country. Good morning.
It's great, Andrew. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I have to say, we're in Cincinnati now. We're coming to you next. Like you said, you said the date's October 28th to November 2nd. It's been remarkable. The response to the musical has been sort of, it's overwhelming. I think a lot of people know the story from the film. I know that they do. There's a lot of name recognition. And then they come and they see this thing put to music in such a beautiful way, and the story is told in a really profoundly moving way, and the audiences are going nuts for it. It's almost like every night it's like some alternate reality when you're standing up there, and especially at the end, and the people rise, and it comes at you, the waves of response, the love that they're sending to us every night. It's crazy, and it's a privilege to be a part of this cast.
I bet. I mean, this is, as you mentioned, this is a movie that goes back about 20 years, 21 years, 2004. Rachel McAdams, Ryan Gosling, and this is one of those stories where it's like it's a love story, is it not? Tell me more.
It is. What it is, it's a story told. We tell the story with three different sets of Noahs and Allies, younger, middle, and older. I play the older, and the older people are dealing, as you know, he's losing this woman that he loves more than anything. He's losing her to Alzheimer's, and he's fighting against the disease to try to bring her back and hold on to her. And what happens is, through this notebook, he revisits the past, and you see it played out on stage. The memories played out by the middles, you know, young love, and I mean the youngers, the young new love, and then the middles, you know, that sort of middle passionate age of love, where big decisions are made and consequences for the rest of your life are played out, and you see that happen on stage, and it's told. I can't emphasize enough the music. Ingrid Michaelson, if you don't know her, look her up. She's a well-known musical artist. She wrote this music, and it's beautiful. The music and lyrics are seamless. The story is told in a seamless way. And I have to also say, I feel like when I step into the play, it's like stepping into a river. You just sort of step in and it takes you. And I think we take the audience that way, and it goes by fast. It's not one of those, 3 hours and 20-minute musicals where you're looking at your watch in the middle of the second act. It's not like that at all. It moves, and it's and the singers in the show they're amazing. They have superpowers. It's beautiful to listen to.
I can't wait. You're selling it great, and
you know what? It's true. I'm not just selling. I'm not a good salesman, but I can tell you the truth. And I haven't done a lot of musicals, and to step into this piece, I wasn't reluctant, but I was like, I don't know, it's not really my thing. And then I met this creative team, and they were brilliant. Michael Greif and Shelley Williams directed, and Ingrid was there in the reading, and it was just, I realized this is a different kind of animal, this piece, and I think the people that are coming to it also realize that. Sorry to interrupt you, Andrew.
No problem, no problem. Tell me who this is for. I mean, obviously, it's a love story, but, sometimes people will say, oh, I have a family member that's going to love this. Who is this for, The Notebook?
That's a really good question. I think, as I say, there are three different age groups, and I have to say the three different responses every night are coming from different people. Do you know what I mean? When the young people see young love played out, it's very recognizable. The risk, the awkwardness, it's all there. And I think in the middle and also the end, there are a lot of people at the end. They're my people, the elders. And they understand, where life has led you. They respond to the decisions that have been made. And also, I don't want to give the ending away, but it's a powerful, powerful ending. And I think it's, to answer your question, I think it's for anyone who's in love, who's been in love, who's wanting to be in love, or has lost love. It's really a story about love, coming at it from many different angles. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. I love it. I love theater. And have you been to Memphis before? If so, tell me about it. And I know you're going to check out some of the haunts there for happy hour, but what else can we talk about?
That was brilliant. I got to see that while I was waiting to come on. I was like, oh, I was writing it all down where I'm going to go see. I have not been to Memphis, but I'm looking forward to it. One of our sound designers, Macy, is from Memphis, and she was talking to me about it. Clearly, the music history, I mean, it's in the DNA of Memphis. I need to see Beale Street. I need to hear that music firsthand. I need to, someone told me I need to see a pyramid that's there. I want to go see that. I've never been. I'm a Southern boy. I was born in North Carolina. I'm happy to be coming back south, and that feels like home to me. The rhythms and the people. I love that, and I look forward to being in that again. But it'll be a discovery to me. I have never been, and I'm looking. That's one of the cool things about touring is when you're not doing the show, you have the day, and you can spend time, in museums and checking out the different cities, and that's been great. That's been a great part of touring. So I look forward to
Fantastic.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, Bo, it's a pleasure meeting you. Congratulations on all the success, and we look forward to having you in Memphis, October 28th through November 2nd. Thanks so very much for
Right.
joining us on the Digital Desk. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
All right, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon. We got Action News 5 midday coming up at the top of the hour with Jerry Askin, Ariana Poindexter. Join me once again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for another edition of the Digital Desk.